Greetings of peace and love. My name is Ram Hotep L, broadcasting on behalf of the number 13 signs Astrology.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Okay, I want to speak something straight from my heart. I want to be straight up direct, and I want to be straight up blunt. I'm not upset. I'm not emotional. I'm just trying to keep it real on this particular video and on this particular segment. Now, if you look at me and a person sees me, the average person, they're going to say that I'm black. And once they say that I'm black, they're going to say this because they're looking at the so-called color of my skin and my complexion. And the melanin really is the melanin that's in my skin. And once they classify me as being black, they're going to then start to put all of these different stereotypes on me predicated upon me being black. And I'm talking about this because people always try to say that astrology isn't real and it's about keeping your head in the stars and you don't deal with your heritage. And what about Africa, brother? And you done lost the knowledge of yourself. And what about Martin Luther King? What about Malcolm X? What about civil rights? What about, you know, all of this stuff that people, black people, and not even black people, but white people that came before us fought to establish? And it seems like your videos, you contact and you get with a lot of people and you have a pretty decent fan base, but I never see you really addressing real stuff. It seems like your head is in the clouds and you got a big imagination, but you don't really know what's going on out here. And I'm gonna just let you know this straight up. I've paid my dues. See, I know everything about what it is to be black. You see, I lived as a black man for years. And people get upset with me on my videos when they hear me say that I don't identify with the term black and I don't like calling people white and I don't identify with those terms. And there's a reason why I don't identify with those terms, and it has nothing to do with self-hatred or me not understanding or being lost and not understanding where I came from or who I am. It has nothing to do with that. And I have to make this clear because you have people out here, these phonies out here that want to put out this information saying that people that don't want to deal with race or they got their head in the clouds and they lost the knowledge. No, what it is that you are lazy and you want to basically call yourself a corporate name and put yourself in a fiction. You want to put yourself into a fictional history. See, because if I call myself black, now I have to identify with slavery. But then when I did the research on my ancestors, I found out that my ancestors was not slaves. My ancestors was not in no chains, and my ancestors didn't suffer slavery. And that's something that you have to realize. So my thinking is different than somebody that believes that they were a slave. Because if you believe that your ancestors were slaves, even though you might think you free, you think that just maybe 50 or 100 years ago was a time when your ancestors was getting whipped and beat and they couldn't do anything, and that basically makes you have low self-esteem, just believing that. And that's why I teach against that. I teach against that because not all of our people suffer slavery. That's the first thing that I want to point out. And then the second thing I want to point out is that when you accept the slavery mentality, it puts you into a victim mentality. It makes you into a victim because you say, now my ancestors were slaves here in America, so I can't really get ahead. I'm one step back from really being able to get ahead. That's a victim mentality. Here it is, you have a man that has melanin in his skin, that's the president, that should have broke the barriers and proved to you that you could do anything in this world and in this country if you have no fear, but yet still you have people that don't want to believe in that because they want to hold on to this victim mentality. And they want to hold on to this slavery thing. And they want to hold on to these stories that you don't even really have no proof. I asked a lot of people, like, so where are your ancestors from? What did your ancestors do? And these people, they don't even have no proof as to whether or not their ancestors were slaves or not. So I'm saying that I'm from the streets. You can't tell me anything. I've been in the ghetto. I've been in Bankhead, Georgia. I've been in Over the Rhine, Cincinnati, Ohio. You see what I'm saying? I've been in Brooklyn. There's not many places I haven't been. I've been in Compton. I've been in Crenshaw. I've been on Crenshaw. All of that. So I've been to a lot of different hoods and in different communities, so I don't have no fear for black people. I'm not some bougie dude that graduated from some university that's up here talking about astronomy and the stars, and I have this hat on, and I have my fez on, and you know, and all of that. Like, no, this is why I carry myself like this, because I'm for real about what I do. So don't think that I'm up here and what I do on these videos, I don't mean what I do. I have a lot of young people that I want to break this mentality of this whole victim mentality, because really calling yourself black is just really identifying with a certain corporation. It has nothing to do with nationality. This is why it's called a race, because you're identifying with competition, which is business. It's capitalism. Black, white, Hispanic, and all of that. These are terms predicated upon capitalism. And this is race. And then when they say that you say things about people in respect, you call somebody black and say, well, black people can't do this, then they call you a racist. And they get to the point now where they're even trying to call other black people to say things about black people racist. Now, so this is why I have to point this out, because I have videos on here where I'm talking about black history and our Starseed story. So people kind of want to try to target me and say, well, you brought this Moor thing up, and now, you know, you made it bad for blacks because you bringing out the Moor thing. Well, my ancestors was Moors, so I have to represent for them. If you want to be black, then that's fine. You could be that. I'm not trying to tell you you can't identify with that, but I'm saying for me, my ancestors were Moors, and I have a responsibility, because in me calling myself a Moor, now I have to acknowledge that my ancestors owned slaves. That's right, my ancestors were slave masters. See, when you call yourself a Moor, you have to understand that. And this is what a lot of people don't want to deal with. So I have a responsibility now. I have to serve people. When I call myself a Moor, I realize that there are Moors that are Jews. See, I'm not racist against any group. That's what people fail to realize. There were Moors that were from Europe. They're called tiny Moors. There are Moors that don't necessarily look like me. So a European, or what you would call a white person, can be a Moor. So this is what people hate. So I chose, and I said in 2012, the ancestors came to me and said that it's time for the Starseed story to be taught. The Moorish flag has the star on it. We're getting ready to make some t-shirts real soon. Once we get some things in order, we're gonna have the Moorish flag, and it has a star, a green star on it. So when I talk about Starseeds, that's what I'm talking about. Because when we were Moors, we weren't victims. We were astronomers, astrologers, navigators, and we were the type of people, we were scientists. And a lot of times the Moors, we worship Moloch. So we were very strong, almost what you would consider dark type entities that didn't have any fear in our hearts. So there was no fear in our hearts about saying and speaking our mind and speaking the truth. So what I do here is, yeah, you can say, well, he's an entertainer, he on YouTube or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm creating an art that will show you what a Moor looks like. Because it's so bad that I realize people are not going to accept being a Moor. A lot of black people aren't. You're going to continue to want to be black because there's so many interests in being black. It's a corporation. There's so much money tied up into being black. I understand that. And that's fine if you don't want that to fall. So you need to keep that going, but there's a lot of people that's pushing the black movement, but in secret, they like, yo, I'm a Moor. I'm with you, bro. And I'm just doing this black thing because I got a contract and I'm tied up into the black thing or whatever. So I'm not knocking you. I'm not mad. I don't hate people that call themselves black, but I understand that we're not going to really be able to get anywhere with our young people and the young Starseeds by keep putting that term on them, because it limits you, and a lot of them were not slaves and they don't have that slavery mentality. And they don't have that racism mentality where you're like, well, white people did this to us. Because when people call themselves Moors, they always got to put the stuff on the white man. And other races is why we in this situation, because we got put in slavery, we got took out the fold. And it's set up against us. Yeah, things may be set up against a black person, but when you start dealing in the fold of a Moor, they can't deal with that. It's not set up against you as a Moor. So I just wanted to make that known, that I understand race. I haven't forgot where I came from. But at the same time, I acknowledge that we have to go further. See, I'm the type of person that they passed the baton to me and they told me to take it further. You know, all of your teachers that you guys look up to, I've probably already spoke with them, read their books, and met them. There's not many people out here that I haven't researched when it comes to scholars. So don't think I understand. I know who Phil Valentine is. I know who Bobby Hemmett is. I know who Dr. Malachi York is. I know who Louis Farrakhan is. I know who all your black. I know who Al Sharpton is. I know who Jesse Jackson is. I know what they did. I respect them in a lot of ways. And then there's some things as a youth that I'm allowed to say, yo, I don't agree with that, and I don't think that our young people should follow that type of mentality. I can say that. I have freedom of speech. So, and if you have a problem with me, we should sit down as a think tank. I can sit down with the black groups. I have no problem sitting down with the black Boule or the black groups as a Moor, and working with the black groups as a Moor. I have no problem working with the Prince Hall Masons as a Moor. But we need to sit down and iron these things out, because even when Europeans disagree, you see they have council, they have the European Union. So when they disagree, they go meet in the council and say, yo, well, let's talk about this and let's iron out that. I need to understand your viewpoint on that. Why are you saying that to the young people? And get clarity. Because a lot of times things are just misquoted. You don't have any clarity on why I'm saying a thing or where I'm coming from. I'm very well read. I've read mostly all of your books. I've been to college, so you're not dealing with somebody that's ignorant of black history. I'm not some guy that's Uncle Tom and all these terms that you put on yourself, on so-called black people. So I just want to let that be known. And that goes for, because there's even white people that, and I have to say this because I got white people that watch my channel, and there's white people that even don't like what I'm doing, and they like, you making it bad for your brothers. Because you sitting up here, because you sitting up here saying Moors, and now they can't identify with being black. So I even got white people looking down on me, and that's the same thing. If you put yourself in our situation, and a lot of you are doing the same thing, because you're calling yourself white. There's a difference between saying I'm white and saying I'm Italian, or saying I'm white and saying I'm Greek, or saying I'm white and saying I'm Russian. This is what I'm trying to agenda. I'm trying to push. So it's not about race. So I'm trying to do, when I say I'm doing it for the Moors, I'm only doing it for people that have melanin in their skin. No, because I just told you the Moors, there's tiny Moors. There's all kind of different Moors. So the Moor thing and the Starseed movement is supposed to even the scale. This is what it's designed to do. It comes with a war, but once the war and the smoke clears, it's gonna even the scale. So this information is very grounded in astrology and learning about these things, learning about your identity. Your nationality is your identity. Your natal chart ties into your nationality, not your race. Your race is the mask that you wear, the persona that you wear while in the Matrix. That's how I'm black, I'm white, and all of that. That's the persona that you wear while in the Matrix. But your nationality, that's who you truly are. That's what your DNA says you are. That's what you have a link to. That basically will tell you what type of food you like, the different nationalities you have in you. So nationality is very important, and I won't stop teaching that thing right there. So I hope you learned something from this video. I thank you for listening and watching to my rant. And until we meet again, I'll leave you in Wadu, Hotep, Namaste, peace.